This channel's first video song analysis is going to be on Labyrinth by Taylor Swift from her new Midnights album. This is an underrated Midnight song in my opinion, which I think is likely due to the production of it and how mellow and building and anxious driving it is, similar to The Archer in production, and lyrically draws parallels to Delicate and Cornelia Street. Even though I understand that the production might not be for everyone, I really think that this song has a lyrical gem in it, and if it was recorded on the piano or over a guitar or with a different production, I really think people would listen to it more. But the way that it is produced, it makes so much sense and reflects the entire ambience and environment that the song tries to produce. So let's dive deep into it right now. It only hurts this much right now was what I was thinking the whole time. She starts out with what I imagine is her motto or her little phrase that she says to herself when she's going through a stressful situation or maybe even a panic attack. This is an example of a personal feeling or motto that she says to herself that through her songs can be super useful in our lives as well. This pain won't last forever. That's what she's saying. It only hurts this much right now. This is a feeling that I'm feeling in this moment and I won't have it forever. And it's so beautiful and self-aware. Sorry there. It's so beautiful and self-aware and probably shows that she's hurting, but she knows that the prospects of the future will heal her. Breathe in, breathe through, breathe deep, breathe out. I'll be getting over you my whole life. So I believe that she's writing this from the perspective fresh from a breakup. Possibly the 2016 Met Gala, Tom, Joe, Calvin getaway car situation. She's realizing that she has deep feelings for someone, but they're so deep that she's afraid of those feelings. She thinks that if she messes this up, she might never recover from it. But why would she mess it up? Is it because she's afraid of being vulnerable? Is it because of her reputation in the moment? Is it because of her excessive fame that she doesn't know how to handle anymore? Is it because of flaws that she feels that she has? We don't know, but we know that she feels so deeply that she's very scared to mess up the situation. This shows a parallel in Cornelia Street where she says that she will never walk down that street ever again if she breaks up with her partner, which is why it makes me think that it is about Joe, since those feelings are so strong that she wrote not only this lyric but also an entire song about that feeling of never being able to get over this feeling if it doesn't go through. You know how scared of elevators I am. Never trust if it rises fast, it can't last. Again, here she's afraid of getting involved too fast because she's aware that the person she has feelings for is precious and she's too scared of ruining it, likely because the situation she's in is so delicate. And a little side note here, I wonder if she actually is afraid of elevators, which is pretty common because it's an enclosed space that's moving up and down, or if she's just using this metaphor of elevators as a way of conveying the sense of moving too fast in a relation, and that she's scared of how claustrophobic and out of control the elevator is. It could be either a direct fear that she's turning into a metaphor, or maybe just a metaphor for that feeling in that moment. This segues perfectly into the chorus, which is a repetition of "I'm falling in love" in a very matter-of-fact state of anxiety, similar to the feeling that she conveys in Out of the Woods, where she repeats the "Are we out of the woods yet? Are we out of the woods yet? Are we out of the woods?" Or in Delicate as well, where she repeats "Isn't it delicate? Isn't it delicate?" over and over again. However, the falling in love is more simple because there's no build-up. It's just a state of matter-of-fact, a statement. She sings it in the tone that she's almost coming to terms with it, as though it's a realization in the moment that she's singing it. From going to, "Uh-oh, I'm falling in love," to, "Oh no, I'm falling in love," to, "Oh, I'm falling in love." It's these very small details that are so simple but so effective in communicating this type of feeling that she's going through, from surprise to fear to maybe a little bit of acceptance, which is what the entire song is about. It's not only a great melodical hook, but it also shows a series of events and a sequence of state of minds, from realizing it, then being scared, and maybe accepting it. And bringing it back to the elevator, the metaphor works perfectly here, because it's the way that she's falling in love almost feels like she's falling in an elevator, falling down, almost like the nightmares that you jolt awake from in the middle of the night, where you get this sensation that you're falling and you're suddenly awake. I thought the plane was going down, how'd you turn it right around? To me, this imagery brings back the video of Look What You Made Me Do, and the scene where she's cutting down a wing from the plane that says TS7. Now, this could represent many things. It could be the plan to scrap up the alleged Taylor Swift 7 album, Karma. That theory is for another day, but it could also be a representation of her reputation crumbling down, like the plane is going down, as well as her falling in love, or her falling into a depression and hiding away because of the whole Kanye West scandal that happened that year. Either way, the sensation that she's falling in love seems to be counteracting or even complementing in some weird way the idea that she's falling to her demise, and that her reputation is being ruined, her career might be suffering because of this whole scandal that happened in 2016. So something as horrible as that thought is being complemented with the idea that she's falling in love with someone. And so the plane falling down is actually turning right back around. It only feels this raw right now. Here we have a similarity to the very first line in the first verse, where instead of saying it only hurts this much right now, she's saying it only feels this raw right now, possibly referring to an open wound and how it only hurts this much. It's just another way of saying the same thing with a different imagery. Lost in the labyrinth of my mind. I really feel like Midnights is the first Taylor Swift album that explicitly dives deep into her mental state of mind from both good and bad perspectives. Let me explain. On one hand, she flexes her immense intelligence and her beautiful mind with lines on songs like Sweet Nothing, where she says, "You say what a mind, this happens all the time," and also entire songs like Karma and Mastermind, where she goes deep into the labyrinth of her mind and the genius of her work. However, we have songs that dive deep into the negative aspects of her mind and her mental health. And she realizes that it's a double-edged sword, where on one hand, she can be very calculative, very mastermindy, very smart, but she trips over it a lot. And we see this in songs like You're on Your Own Kid, Anti-Hero, and Dear Reader, where she's like, you know what? One of my biggest assets can also be one of my biggest flaws. So on one hand, she flexes her undeniable genius, whilst also accepting that it comes with consequences. We love that duality and complexity. Break up, break free, break through, break down. You would break your back to see me break a smile. This line is the reason why I wanted to create this channel. I found it so brilliant the first times that I was listening to this song, and when I first re-listened to it properly, I realized the depth and genius of it, because she uses the word break in almost every meaning of the word itself, using it in different contexts. It's very minimal and simplistic, but it shows you how the power of one word combined with other words can lead to different meanings of that same word. For example, break in the context of break up is breaking up with a partner, or sadness, frightful Adam. Break free is breaking free from that person after the breakup. Breakthrough refers to a realization that you have once you've broken through after the breakup and breaking free from that person. Possibly that breakthrough could be meeting Joe. However, why is there a breakdown after the breakthrough? It might be because they might not be compatible, so there's a fear of the fame and the private life clashing to another. There could be fear of the other person not being available, so they might be together with someone else. There might be the fear of the media getting in the way with the 2016 cancellation on Twitter. There could be a fear of simply scared of being vulnerable with this person so soon after a breakup. So that might be the reason of the breakdown. But there's reassurance because the person that Taylor has feelings for also has some glimpse of feelings back for her, because they would break their back to see her break a smile. Again, so nice. They would break their back or do anything in the world, anything in their power to see her break a smile. Not even a full laugh, just a little smirk. So this really highlights the power of words and the way that Taylor really shows her knowledge of words and how she can transform a simple, common word like break in 6 different ways in 2 lines. You know how much I hate that everybody just expects me to bounce back, just like that. I can't imagine the immense amount of pressure that Taylor feels when she just finishes an album or when she's going through a hard time to portray this idea that everything is fine. Everybody has such high expectations of Taylor, and she manages to go beyond those expectations time and time again. We've seen it with Midnights being her 10th album, yet she is surpassing all of her previous records with the streaming and with the songs being on the top 10 Billboard. And to do that so far in your career when you're considered elderly in Hollywood standards is mind-blowing. However, I can picture in her moments of maybe sadness or depression, maybe back in 2016 when she was really going through a rough time, and getting to know Jo in the period where she was receiving so much hate, slut-shaming, and even death threats.
Stop making that surprise face. It's so annoying. Yeah, you can't possibly be that surprised all the time. Oh, there she goes, playing the victim again.
And yet, the media and the fans expect her to just bounce back just like that every time. It's not easy to do that often. And the reason why we think it's easy is because she's such an inspiration and such an idol to us that we can't picture her crumbling down like that. But I can imagine that on the flip side, from her perspective, our support can sometimes feel like very high expectations that are unable to be met. We don't see her struggles and all the times that she's wanted to give up. And being in the public eye like that, I can imagine how many times one would want to do that. Turning that negative into a positive though, she realizes that she's falling for a person who understands that and who realizes that she feels this immense amount of pressure from her career and her fame and her fans and the media and everyone else. So I really believe that the last pre-chorus or verse, where she realizes that the person, you know how much I hate how everybody just expects me to bounce back, that realization that the other person empathizes with her and would break their back to see her break a smile makes her realize that she's able to dive deep into this labyrinth, into these feelings that she has, and that it is safer than she thought. And that cathartic mess at the end of the song is really that release that she needed of just letting go and allowing herself to fall in love. And I think that that's really beautiful. And at the end there, I'm not sure if you hear it, but the sound that Jack puts in the background, which I can't even describe it, it's like this whoosh. It goes down and then it goes back up. It goes like, and it's like, it's a sonic way of depicting the plane that she thought was going down, coming back around. And I really think that that is a pure gem, a pure underrated gem off of the Midnights album. So now that I've finished all that I had to say about this wonderful song, I wanted to give the speech to you and ask you what sort of videos you would like me to produce in the future. I'm just starting with this whole YouTube channel, and I am super passionate about songs and song lyrics, and I was thinking of starting with the whole Midnight's album since I'm really immersed in that right now, but then also moving on to other artists like the 1975, Phoebe Bridgers. I love a bunch of other music, and I would love to share my interpretation of song lyrics with you because I really, really love doing that. And of course, if you have any suggestions on songs, on artists, on albums that you would like me to dive deep into, I would absolutely love to hear your recommendations, and also any suggestions on the type of format. I have also started a TikTok, which I'm not very good at, but I'm getting into. So feel free to follow me over there. It's Song Deep Dives, just as this channel name. I really hope we can create a community that truly cares about song lyrics and the depth that they can bring to a song when they are written well. So please let me know what you think. Tell me what your favorite Midnight songs are. Just leave me whatever comment. I'm open to reply to everybody, and I can't wait to do so. Bye. And in love again.